Oh no, Kwite's holding the microphone again! No wires attached, baby. Hi again, crabs, and welcome back to Somewhere Weird, because I know wherever we are isn't what you're used to seeing, and I hope you're doing well. So I've been scrolling through Twitter a lot these last few weeks, because what else am I gonna do? And everything I've seen has fallen into one of three categories. Stuff I don't want to see, more stuff I don't want to see, and something I do want to see, but was then deleted by the tweeter 2 seconds after me seeing it. So now I'm just stuck with stuff I don't want to see, and I'm left wondering what even the point was of all this to start with. Now that and not wanting to see something might sound bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean I was opposed to seeing it. And one of these things I didn't want to see, but also didn't mind seeing, was James Charles announcing his own YouTube original series. He was to serve as both host and judge for a talent/reality show of sorts called Instant Influencer, in which aspiring beauty gurus auditioned for a spot on the show, and only the very best could make it to the actual production. As a concept, it reminded me of a show called Internet Icon from like 2012, which had a similar premise to Instant Influencer, just for like all of YouTube. And it had people like Ryan Higa and the man formerly known as Timothy DeLaGhetto as judges. But the first episode of Instant Influencer came out yesterday, and I did not plan on watching that video of my own free will, but somehow that's what I ended up doing, and it's where we're at right now. So instead of wondering how I got there, I've decided to seize this opportunity, and with you guys, look through the first episode of James Charles' new show and answer the question, is it worth watching? And also hopefully where am I? The first episode is some 42 minutes long, so you know I watched this baby on double speed. I just wish you could do that with real babies so they would stop being babies quicker. But here we meet the 6 contestants of season 1 who we're going to be spending a lot of time with. Firstly, there's Christian, an aspiring beauty guru who's already living it up in LA. He claims that his art is what he works on all the time, that he lives, breathes, and dyes makeup. And funny enough, that's exactly what I say, but instead of makeup, it's laying in bed, and I definitely do not feel like I'm living right now. Next up is Gabriel, who says he had a rough childhood and used his art as a way of getting back in touch with that inner child of his.
Growing up in foster care, I didn't have the best childhood, but through my art is me reconnecting with my inner child.
Now I don't know a whole lot about this touching kids business, but if the stuff he makes with his art is any indication of what his time as a kid was like, then Gabriel has definitely seen some shit. His artistry looks top notch to me, but who taught you, man? H.R. Geiger? Next we have Kaylin, who rocked onto the set wearing cheetah print. Wow, she's really that determined to make anybody who sees her an enemy. Okay, perhaps my hatred is not for you, but for that cheetah print with which you adorn yourself. Watch it, sis. That's gang affiliated around these parts. Anyways, Kaylin says that she once felt weak, but that she found power in makeup, and that she wants to inspire people to do the same. A noble message. And yes, I'm still in my feelings about the Halo Reach campaign 9 years later. After that is Benny Chase, who also says he found confidence in makeup, and who thinks he'll flourish in this competition. But beware, Benny. That competition is only looking more and more steep, like my crippling amount of mortgage payments. After that is Brittany. She's got the striking red hair that immediately makes her stand out, and she found power in makeup, very similar to everybody else that made it here. Apparently she moved out at age 15 and works 2 full-time jobs, and that is absolutely a lot for anybody. Even more so for somebody who was moving out before they were even meant to graduate. So if that's true, major props. And lastly is Ashley, a single mother who seems so well-spoken, suave, and confident that she might as well just be a living self-help book. She says that not only is she looking out for herself, but also for her son, and that having a child motivates her to do anything for them. This might be poor practice on my part, but if you couldn't tell, I have an early favorite. Everybody else seemed to have some great stuff to say, but Ashley's story was just really compelling to me for whatever reason. But now that we've met our influencer wannabe cast, I do regret to inform you that at the end of every episode, one of them dies. That's to say they go home, having failed on this particular quest for relevancy. So yeah, it basically feels like you've died and are doomed to failure for the rest of your life. But hey, if any of them are watching, don't worry. I thought that too, and still do. You learn to ignore the pain pretty fast. If you don't learn to deal, then you'll just be eaten alive like everybody else who doesn't. But since we've met our little group now, we can finally dive into reviewing the episode itself. And the really interesting and unique angle I have to bring to this conversation is that I know as much about makeup as a rat does about having rights. That is to say, fuck all. So all traditional metrics such as skill level and aptitude are out the goddamn window. You gotta win me over via pure entertainment value. Now the episode begins with James Charles introducing or reintroducing, depending on who you are, the concept of the show, that he scoured the internet to find the next big beauty YouTuber, and only the best of the best, the top 6, were able to be brought here today. There's a little picture-in-picture montage of all the other auditioners who didn't get picked, get fucked losers, and I found I can't shake the thought that these things always look like the character select screen for a fighting game. Especially here, where some of the people are wearing makeup that makes them look like Mortal Kombat characters. But what's everybody even competing for, you may ask? Well, why don't I just have James tell you himself?
The winner winner of Insta Influencer will take home a full lighting and videography equipment package, just like the one I have at home, valued at $10,000.
Wow.
You will also win a collaboration with me on my YouTube channel. And finally, no big deal or anything, but also $50,000.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wow, a full-ass video setup, $50,000 just straight up, and the crown jewel, a collab with James Charles. A cosign probably worth more than that 50K, goddamn. This is a lucrative competition to win for sure, and I've been wanting a James Charles collab for ages now, so if this is my only chance of that, then I think I know where I'll be when season 2 auditions start. Gotta get your bands up somehow, baby! Each episode sounds like it has multiple challenges per episode, and the first challenge for our contestants actually started before filming even began. They were tasked with creating their own makeup looks to bring to set on the first day.
Your first challenge actually starts right now.
Okay.
Tell me what I have to do.
I need you to come on the first day of filming with a makeup look on that tells us who you are as an artist.
When the time came to see all the looks, it was definitely interesting. To my untrained eye, they all seemed to vary wildly in complexity and tonality, and it was the first time I was going to see James actually judge. And oh boy, does that man have some teeth to him that I never realized. For instance, Gabriel came in with this really intense looking skull makeup, with the story behind it being Mother Nature or something. And James is all, yeah, that's really cool, but you completely fucked the prompt.
The amount of work that you put into it really does show. The one note that I would love to give you is that your story about Mother Nature is beautiful, but it has nothing to do with you as a person. I wanted to see your personal journey and how that connects to you more as an artist.
They did the whole awkward crash noise to drive shit home to, and then they just keep going. There is no room for hesitation in the world of YouTube talent shows. This editing is ruthless, man. Cutthroat doesn't even cut it to describe it. Wordplay. But for instance, with Kaylin from earlier, we find out that she talks a lot. Like this.
But I really wanted people to know exactly who I am. I've like gone through so much in my life, and I've just been a very like vivacious person through. I feel like I want to also encourage people. Disruptive, and I'm fun, and I'm loud. No way. There's like no way. Like I'm not even worried about it. Like meh.
My biggest weakness in this entire competition is that I'm a rambler and I will talk for days.
Yeah, the editor made sure I knew that shit. We're gonna fade this girl's monologue over itself, just to drive home how much she talks. And to cap it off, afterwards, we're gonna have her say herself that she talks too much. Girl, do not let these people put you down. Just start a podcast and talk horse shit for an hour. Merchandise your perceived character flaws, baby. Anyways, Ashley becomes the winner of that challenge with a Rorschach ink blot looking piece of work that was meant to be in the eye of the beholder, or some other line of thinking that's beyond my brain power. Either way, that win gave her a leg up in the next challenge. That next one being the elimination challenge of this episode, meaning if you fudge this too bad, you very well may have fudged the whole goddamn thing, you gobstopper. The skill this challenge is meant to test is marketing, and to do that, each person was tasked with selling a product in a reveal video. It seems like it would be pretty straightforward, but the way that James introduces it is, something.
I had the opportunity to collaborate with Morphe on my James Charles X Morphe palette. It is still one of the best-selling palettes of all time. In order to actually get that there though, we had to do a full marketing campaign behind it. And I don't know if you guys saw my reveal video, but I did 10 different makeup looks, all in different rainbow colors for the 39 shades, and finalized it with the white splash paint look, which is now in all of the packaging. In today's challenge, you guys are going to be making your very own reveal video.
He really just flexed all the cool shit he gets to do, and then on top of that, how much more accomplished he is on all of these aspiring makeup artists who dream of doing that shit. Alright sisters, today we're gonna get to do something cool. Something I've already done and did so much better than you can ever hope to do, as I am far better than you, but it's gonna be fun anyways. I know that's not how he meant it, but it's more fun this way. And even if James Charles was unironically doing that, I would still support him. The sheep need to know their place amongst the herd, beneath my boot. Anyways, the contestants were each supposed to pick an item to base their marketing campaign around, and because Ashley won the last challenge, she got to pick first on this one. Everybody got 3 hours to edit, record, and plan their video. And if I know anything about anything, it's making videos. And holy shit, that seems like a quick-ass turnaround time. You'd have to be working pretty much non-stop to get something done in that time, and have no room for the TikTok and procrastination breaks that are an essential part of the video making process. Anyways, Ashley chose her product, and after her, everybody else ran and grabbing stuff like it was the King of the Hill intro. Then they got to the real production side of the work. Not everybody was super confident going in. Kaylin said that recording the video alone takes 3 hours for her. Others had never done something like a reveal video before and were just working on what they knew. Shout out to Gabriel for picking the James palette, by the way. That's the only piece of makeup related thing that I've owned, and I absolutely demolished mine. So it's good to see someone else repping in the streets. Brittany personally considers herself the bubbly type. That was why she had bubbles on her face earlier. Very subtle, I know. Not something you catch the first time if you weren't smart like me, but she also seems like a very quick worker. Not only was she the first one to finish recording, but she was also the first one to finish her video in its entirety with an hour to spare. Her reasoning for doing so being this.
I'm the first one out of the room to go edit, and I'm super excited. This is exactly what I wanted to prove to James, that I could work my butt off and be the first one to finish.
Rugged efficiency. I like the mindset, but will it pay off? That remains to be seen. Towards the end of the 3-hour block, Kaylin only had like 30 minutes left and she just finished recording. She had to hustle that shit out the front door because she understands the importance of making sure the product gets finished even if you have to rush it sometimes. Also, to show that the time allotted was over, James counted down from the top of his lungs.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're done. Cut. Period.
Dude said cut and then period out loud. Guess the dude has been spending too much time on TikTok. After the time ends though, we find ourselves back in the room where James judged all the contestants' original makeup looks. And it's here we get introduced to the judges for this episode. The first judge is James Charles, and no shit, it's literally his show uploaded to his YouTube channel. The other judge that'll be making a recurring appearance is someone named Norvina. I am unfamiliar and have no frog flipping idea who they are, but I'm just gonna assume that they're important. And lastly, the guest judge for this episode was Paris Hilton, but more importantly, her dog.
Our second judge needs no introduction, let's be honest. She's iconic, legendary, and totally hot. Paris Hilton.
You guys are hot too.
God, it really feels like they told James he had to talk like a TV announcer for some parts, when really, I just wish he'd rapid fire gun me down with words like one of his normal videos. Also, it really feels like Paris has no idea what the fuck is happening, or for that matter, what she's doing. Just listen to what she said to one of the contestants.
I actually don't know how to do contour, but I felt after watching the video I learned, you made me want to buy this product, and I think that's what being an influencer is about.
Thank you.
Bro, I don't know a whole lot about makeup. I don't know if contouring is hard or if it's essential, but I feel like the judges should know how to do it if they are judging the contestants on it. I guess she is the guest judge for a reason though. Anyways, let's see how the section played out. Benny went first, and it seems like he was pretty positively received overall. He told the story of how often he had been put down during his life, but in spite of that, how he'd made it this far, and it sounded like the judges took it and resonated with it pretty well.
There's just something special about Benny. I just like felt for him. Like when he was talking, it like almost made me want to cry, but I didn't want to cry because I didn't want my eyelashes to fall off.
Brittany was next, and as soon as her video ended, James came busting in to tell her that the framing wasn't good, that she cut off the top of her head in the recording, and I gotta agree, man, I'm trying to see the forehead of whoever's video I'm watching at all times, and it seems like the gamble she made with finishing early didn't pay off too well.
It is important to take those extra minutes, even if you're rushing, in order to make sure that everything is perfect and ready to go, because slow and steady wins the race.
Next was Kaylin, and she was well liked, but instead of explaining to you what the reaction to her was, please just watch it.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Are you okay? You good?
Yeah. Oh my, I was just not expecting it to come out.
Before I even get anything, I've noticed this is a common theme with you. You are not very confident, which is a problem. Because you should be.
Bro, James has some fucking fangs on him. He sunk his teeth into that poor girl's self-esteem like it was a gourmet burger and ripped its intestines out. He went straight for it. Even Norvina looked completely caught off guard by it. Now, James's reason for saying that was because there was no reason for Kaylin's lack of confidence, because she had already proven herself entirely capable. And it was something she'd definitely need to work on if she continued down this path in the future. Gabriel was up next, and he was the one I said was using the James Charles palette.
All right, Gabriel, wow, the pressure is definitely on because you went with my very own palette.
They must know how big of a deal you are, James. Do not let them forget. That was a joke, Mr. Charles. I love you. Please follow me back on Twitter. I'm begging. Ashley was up next, and she made use of having the first pick of products by choosing a blue mascara, something that stands out as a product on its own, I'm told. I'm not really sure, but she was lauded by the judges for having some very high production on the video, using B-roll and getting creative shots, though she did get docked on the performance end a little bit. Also, Paris said that she wanted Ashley's jacket to wear to Burning Man.
I love your jacket. jacket. I need to wear it to Burning Man this year.
You can borrow it.
Well, guess what's not happening anymore, Paris? You're stuck inside watching the Travis Scott Fortnite concert and its reruns like the rest of us. Also, that show is actually pretty cool. You should go check out the next one. Lastly was Christian, or if we call him by his YouTube name, Indigo, which is short for Indigo to Hell. Alright, I'm sorry, that name is metal as fuck, man. Can we trade? Whatever. He was praised for his use of humor in his video. He made some sly jokes, calling himself the viewer's last brain cell, saying he hasn't slept in 48 hours, you know, the usual. And I am inclined to agree with that judgment. His felt the most like a YouTube video from a YouTube personality out of the 6 to me. Then, after all the contestants were judged, they were sent back to a waiting room to, wait. One thing I gotta say about this segment though is that the way it was edited was really funny. They'd play a person's video and then cut to certain judges' reactions to something the person did or said, but then occasionally they would show a reaction clip of just Paris Hilton's dog. And it's like, why? Now, personally, after watching all of them judge, I think they did a pretty good job of it. One of the big things with this show is that the contestants have already been weeded out from a much bigger pool. Everybody on this show is talented at their craft and has the potential to make a career out of what they're doing now. So it was really nice to see the judges give what seemed like honest criticism that was genuinely helpful to the contestants. At the same time as that though, it's not like they glossed over the things the contestants did right either. They built them up on their strengths and they told them earnestly what they needed to work on and their weaknesses. The things they were saying seemed like meaningful and relevant commentary that had something to do with the video they had just watched or the person they were judging. It didn't feel like they were ever struggling for a comment to make, just to have a comment to make. At least this goes for James and Norvina. Still not sure if Paris Hilton knows where she is. Much less how to judge, though I suppose that wasn't really the point of her being there.
Well, I have a couple houses, so maybe I got sent to one of them.
Must be nice.
After the judges had finished deliberating, somebody came out to retrieve each contestant and they were sat back into their white void recording setup cubicle things. Doing so as they wait in anticipation for whether or not they're about to get their shit rocked by James Charles. They had the video recordings of the 6 of them put together like the Brady Bunch on a preview monitor so we could simultaneously see the anxiety radiate off of all of them. Wouldn't be good reality TV without it. The whole vibe is that of a sad and silent Discord call with the boys. Nobody saying anything, and it's probably better that way. It was interesting, because apparently James was to FaceTime each of them through the recording setup and speak to them that way. It's such a tense way to find out if you're getting axed or not, making it almost nerve-wracking to watch until I realized that I'm doing this for a video. Kaylin ended up being the winner of that challenge with her sponge contour video, and slowly the others were told they were safe until it came down to just 2. Brittany and Gabriel. And unfortunately for Brittany, it was Gabriel who would be walking back to that table to see his friends.
If I go home today, I would feel like a failure.
Ooh, girl, why do they have to put you saying that right before it's about to happen? The editors for this stuff have too much fun, man, I swear. Or at least whoever's telling them to edit it like that. Instead of FaceTiming her to tell her that she was getting the boot, James came in person to break the news, comforting her and giving her a little pep talk about a bunch of the good she had going for her. But it does not make it any less hard to watch, because while I may not understand makeup, I do understand that going through rejection sucks. After all of that conversation and comforting thoughts, there's one direction decision I just do not agree with. And it's making the girl outro the episode after she's just had her heart broken.
And we are signing off of Instant Influencer episode 1. Britt, thank you so much for joining us here on the competition. We are so blessed and lucky to have you. Just like I did, I'm sure everybody at home is going to fall in love with you. Where can they check you out if they want to see more?
At Brittany Raquel on YouTube and also everything else.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Ah, man, that must have sucked. I just imagine her not wanting to do it at first, and James is all, listen, bitch, you've already been eliminated. You might as well maximize your screen time and get your plugs in. The road does not end here. But hey, girl, this could potentially be the best case scenario. This initial episode might very well get the most buzz out of all the episodes in the season, and you got to plug your shit in it. Just keep your chin up and keep at your work until there's nothing left to keep at. And that's pretty much the end of the first episode. So what do I think? After everything I've said about not knowing jack about makeup, not traditionally even watching shows like this, and just generally not at all being the target audience for who the show was made, I mean, honestly, I enjoyed myself. It goes without saying that the production value was good, the editing was tight, lighting was nice, the whole technical end was very well done, as would be expected from a proper production, but also, I really felt like an emotional resonance or some gay shit while watching the video. The cast of contestants they chose was a bunch of rich personalities with compelling backstories, and I couldn't help but root for each of them in some way. It was nice. And we already knew this, but James has a big personality all his own. He was a great host and an effective objective judge. I made a lot of jokes about him having a big ego, which I don't actually believe, but even if that were true, it's no secret that he's really good at his craft, even if it's a craft I don't really understand. So seeing him get to flex his expertise in such a way was a lot of fun. I don't know that I'll be watching the following episodes, but I did enjoy this one, and if you guys want to see a follow-up to this when the season's over, then I would be more than happy to. Just let me know. But I think that if you like James Charles or just beauty community stuff in general, that you'll enjoy this show. Perhaps even more than I did. Damn, who would have thought somebody in a show's target audience might enjoy the show more than somebody not in the target audience? Brilliant thinking, Kwite. But hey, if you yourself are an aspiring beauty guru, influencer, whatever, maybe you'll learn something useful by watching this show as well. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. If you guys enjoyed and maybe want to see more videos like this one, please let me know in the comments and drop a like on this vid. If you're new and had fun, why not subscribe with notifications on? I would really appreciate it. You can follow me on Twitter at Kwite, on Instagram at Kwite.png, and on TikTok at KwiteTikTok. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I will see you guys in the next weird place or something, lol.